Hi everyone, we are Group 7 by Tutorial Section 2A. To this video, we will be present our movie case study. So, I'm Kai Wai. So, our group member have Shanghua, Chi Chongki, and Wa'at. This is the movie title for our case study. We choose Means Girls. There's the poster for our movie. So I will be presenting the introduction of the movie and also the character creation winners. So go to the introduction first. So for the introduction, our study we will use organization behavior theories to analyze the movie Mean Girls. We will focus on four main character, Chaddy, Regina, Janice, and Gretchen. We apply concepts like the Mars MAI's model, Big Five personality, motivation, power, communication, team dynamics, and organization culture. At the end, we also highlight lessons on leadership and ethical behavior. Next is the background. The movie starts with Katie Heron, a girl who joins an American high school after being homeschooled in Africa. She quickly meets the plastic, the most popular but toxic crack, led by Regina George. Outsiders, Janice and Diamond then encourage Katie to join them to bring Regina down. The story reflects terms like leadership, power, coercive, conflict, and cultural change. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Shi Jong King. Now I will analyze one of the characters, Candy Heron. She begins as a newcomer with a clear self-concept shaped by her upbringing. Her initial personality, based on the Big Five, is high agreeableness and open to experience, which can see in her willingness to make a new friend. However, she completely lacks the learned capabilities to navigate not so complex social structure, making her highly susceptible to the organizational culture. Her motivation, based on the Mars model, she begins with a strong drive to bomb, but after a perceived betrayal, she now drives to acquire status and defend against threats. Janice Land acts as her main communicator, guiding her values and pushing the revenge plan. Candy internalizes the toxic norms of the plastics, resulting in emotional dissonance and emotional labels, especially when pretending to be bad at math. Her success is promoted inclusivity and restores self-concept clarity, while her failures is sacrifices authentic self for social capital.
Hi everyone, I'll be presenting my analysis of Regina George, the main leader of the plastics in Mean Girls. Regina is basically the perfect example of power and influence in an organizational setting. She's confident, popular, and knows exactly how to control others. In the context of Big Five personality traits, Regina scores high in extraversion. She's outgoing and commanding, but low in agreeableness and emotional stability, which means she can be aggressive, jealous, and manipulative. Her entire subconcept is built on status and reputation. Everything she does revolves around maintaining her image as the most powerful person in school. She uses impression management, for example, pretending to be nice while secretly manipulating people to stay on top. If we look at her through the Mars model, Regina's main motivation is her drive to power and control. She wants to dominate school situations and make sure everyone stays in their quote unquote place. This is clear when she decides who can sit with her, what to wear, or who to be friends with. All of these show her control over the organization's informal rules. In terms of communication, Regina's main tool is manipulation and gossip. She uses them as her way to influence others. Similar to how leaders in organizations sometimes use information strategically to keep authority, her leadership style is both autocratic and transactional. She rewards loyalty, like when Gretchen and Karen obey her, and punishes disobedience. Often through humiliations and exclusion, she holds coercive power by making people fear losing her approval, and rewards power by making them crave it. Regina's success is her strong influence and ability to organize a structured group that everyone looks up to. But her failure is abusing that power. She creates toxic environment where everyone competes instead of support one another. When that system collapses, she completely loses control and respect. So overall, Regina George shows how powerful leadership can easily turn destructive when it's built on manipulation and fear instead of trust and respect.
My name is Yong Xing Hua, and I will continue the third character, which is Janice Land. Janice Land is shown to be an outsider who doesn't follow the popularity rules and not show high. She doesn't care about where she stands in the societies like the plastic dudes, and she freely questions the idea of being popular. Janice has a high openness level based on the five big personality traits because she is creative and ready to try the new things, and her agreeableness level is low, and she often direct and rude. However, her boldness makes her stand out as a natural leader in her small groups. When you look at the Mars, her major drives come from two places. She wants to get back at Regina, and she's very loyal to her friends, Damien and Kelly. And almost everything she does in the story is affected by this force. And Janice also in charge of spreading the word about the plan to ban the plastics. She is in charge of making the plans, getting Kelly to join and tell the group what to do. As a creative planner, she has the most success by revealing the Regina through the burn book and the other means. She helped change the school culture and make the plastic less powerful. That being said, Janice also makes some mistakes. She often lets her feelings get in the way of her decisions, and she can be sneaky and force Caddy into the situations she doesn't fully understand what will happen. Janice Land's biggest accomplishment was changing the culture at the North Shore High by standing up to Regina and pointing out the harmful fan systems. This led to a more jeans school culture, but her biggest mistake was letting anger and hurt feelings control her actions, which sometimes make her deceptive and even hurt her friendships.
Alright, now for my character. Gretchen Wieners, she's Regina's loyal follower in the plastic. She is very agreeable and always wants to please Regina, but at the same time, she is also anxious and scared of being executed. Her motivation is simple. She just wants to belong in the group. She spread a lot of gossip, which show the grapevine as informal communication. Her success is that she acts as the glue of the group, keeping everyone together. But her failure is that she cannot stand on her own. She depends too much on Regina and breaks down under stress. So that's all for me. I will pass to next presenter.
For the team's dynamics, Follow the taxman model. The taxman model for the team group is used by the Janiceland small teams, which includes Damien and the latter Katie. Janice easily takes the lead in the forming stage when she brings up the idea and exposing Regina George and lay out the plans. Everyone starts with the same goal in mind. When Katie spends more time with the plastic and less time with Janice and Damien, the problems start to arise during the storming stage. This makes people in the group angry and suspicious. The group gets back on the track in the norming stage as they work together to carry out their plans against the Regina. They agree on what their jobs are and depends on Jenny's guidance to tell them what to do. Their plans work by the performing stage and upset the school social orders, showing how much power the group was able to wield together. At first, the team is strong because of friendship and trust, while the plastic is born and weak and based on the popularities. But there is a trouble when Caddy breaks Jenny's trust, which causes her to feel bad. Janice is an official leader and Damien is there to back her and keep getting things checked. The group suddenly fell apart, but they get back together again, showing that honesty and forgiveness can bring people back together.
At North Shore High, the school has its own kind of organizational culture, just like a company does. The dominant culture is all about popularity and appearance. People are judged by how they look, who they hang out with, and how well they fit into what's quote unquote cool. The plastics clearly represent that. They're like the managers of this culture, setting all the unspoken rules. Then we have the subcultures like the jocks, mathletes, and art kids. These groups have their own small communities and identities, but they still live under the same social system where popularity matters most. It shows how, even in one organization, smaller groups can form based on shared interests. The countercultures is Janice and Damien. They don't care about popularity or appearance, they challenge the system. They represent people in organization who go against toxic norms and speak up for being real and different. The change trigger happens with the burn book scandal. When it spreads, it exposes all the lies, bullying, and toxicity in the school. It's the breaking point that forces everyone to see how harmful their culture has become. Finally, the spring fling crown scene shows the start of change when KD breaks the crown and shares it. It represents inclusivity and equality. It's like a cultural reset where everyone is treated as equals and the focus shifts from status to kindness and respect. So, overall, the movie shows how toxic cultures can be challenged and how one event can lead to positive change in a whole community.
For our analysis of Mean Girls, we identify four key lessons learned. Firstly, ethical leadership. Regina's conceive and manipulative style show how unethical leadership can create a toxic culture. Her dominance led to short-term control but long-term dysfunction. Secondly, informal power like gossip and social networks shape culture more than formal authority. For example, Gretchen spread grabbing gossip reinforces Regina's influence. This highlights how informal communication channels can be more powerful than official rules. Thirdly, followers play a critical role in reinforcing leadership. For example, Gretchen and Karen support Regina's hierarchy even when it's harmful. This shows that leadership is not just about the leaders, it's also about how followers respond and conform. Finally, change requires communication, involvement, and shared vision. Candy's spring fling speech is a turning point. She used force field analysis to reduce resistance and promoted inclusivity, demonstrating authentic leadership and restoring a healthier culture. Now, we explained all of the mean girls already. Thank you.